Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Jamil. We are going to analyze weekly time frame on Alibaba stock, then daily, then 15-minute time frame. So let's start with weekly time frame first. Last week we have done discussed after closing in a bullish momentum. As soon as it cross this swing, we can find to sell aggressively on here, and market can become negative on here. And one condition we also discussed: if anything gap up, then we cannot plan to sell aggressively on here, and market can become positive on here. You can see after opening gap up, market trying to become positive on here, and 120 is a resistance level. After touching this resistance, market immediately got rejection on here. So the things become it's a very big upside, a very big range for this week. In starting of this week, market trying to become positive on here, and end of this week market also get negative on here. So market closing for this week on in between market closing, so confusing is still on there, because in this week market can travel both sides, because if you see on higher level seller are sustaining on the from the lower level, buy are defensive for this swing. So trending will only possible either any candle closing on upside, either any candle closing on downside. Only after that we can plan for the one direction. As long as market will going to be trading in between for this range, we cannot planning to buy or sell aggressively on here. So on a weekly time frame, no doubt market is getting confusing stage on here. So let's check the daily time frame to understand how we can understand the price movement for intraday. No doubt on daily time frame, market is still looking positive on here. You can see here it's a gap up, it's an upside momentum, it's a gap up, it's upside momentum, it's a gap up, upside, gap up, upside. That means each and every opening gap up, market are getting sustaining, market are hold on upside. That means it's a buying market. Generally this kind of price action happen when on a big player investor are buying with pyramiding concept. What is pyramiding? If you understand the pyramiding, if you see here, for example, it's upside momentum, it's the first retracement, then they buy few quantity on here. It's a pullback, second retracement, they buy few quantity again on here. It's a pullback, again retracement, they buy on here, again pullback. This is the kind of price action generally considered as a pyramiding. So you can see the price on here after opening gap up, market sustaining, gap up sustaining, gap up sustaining, and even gap up is a very big upside momentum. No doubt it's a news market though, but each and every gap up market are expecting on here. That's the buying market generally happen when investor start to buying with pyramid concept. And you can see here last 2 days market no doubt aggressively facing the selling pressure from the top side, but as long as this swing going to be intact, market still become positive on here. So you can see here it's a breakout momentum. No doubt it's a breakout momentum. Market is a breakout. After breakout is sideways momentum. So in generally after breakout, market generally come down to his previous support. After touching this support, then if it is buying market, then no doubt market will not going to be spending time on here. It will be immediately upside momentum. Then market trend will going to be positive side continuation. So for this week, how we can plan? After opening flat, no doubt it can be selling pressure because gap are also pending, and this is support level. Chances are very high it will come down first to this support line, support level. Then market will going to be deciding. If it is buying, then it will be continuation for the buying. If it is not, then market will going to be spending. If it is negative sign, always remember, if it is negative market, then after breakout this swing, fill the gap, market will going to starting to spending time on his support range. Then in future you can understand easily it is going to be breakdown on here. But one condition, after opening gap up, then we cannot plan to sell anymore on here, because last 2 days seller trying to sell on here. You can see last 2 days aggressively seller try to sell on here, but not able to closing below this swing. If anything gap up, then no doubt all of this selling scenario will going to be invalid, and market can become positive on here. I hope you understand this point. This is for the daily time frame. So let's check the 15-minute time frame, because on weekly time frame, on daily time frame, weekly time frame is still looking negative. It's a confusing stage which market can travel. It's not a confirmation. On even daily time frame, market trading on that trend. So no doubt market will going to be a breakout somewhere, because it's a upside, very big upside momentum. Market continuously trading on smaller range. So no doubt market will not going to be trade again and again on a smaller range. It will going to be a breakout or even breakdown any side. We will let's check the 15-minute time frame to understand how we can planning for the intraday momentum, that to be on Monday. On 50-minute time frame, I'm going to share with you a very important price point according to the price action. To make sure you note on your paper, so it will help you in the future. First things you can see here, it's a upside momentum. It's upside momentum. Sorry, let me draw on here. It's upside momentum. It's 50% retracement. After 50% retracement in a price action, 50% is always healthy correction. After 50% correction, market need to be pulled back on here. But you can see here, after touching 50% correction, market start to spending the time on his support range. Always remember, if support range is support are important for the buyer, market will not going to be spending the more time on here. You can see here, after fall down on here, market start to spending the time. If it is important for the buyer, then after touching this level, market start to become high on here, and it will become immediately a positive sign, and we can easily understand the price action. But the moment market start spending the time on here, that's the sign that market maybe it's a accumulation or distribution zone. For the future, market will going to be a breakdown on here. But how we can planning for tomorrow? After opening flat, as soon as we cross this swing, 108 will going to be our selling range. After opening flat, as soon as we closing any swing, we can plan to sell aggressively on here. But target will going to be this gap. This gap may be going to be filled on Monday morning after opening flat, and as soon as we cross this swing, only this condition is going to be meet, then we can plan to sell for here, and 104 and 102, 103 going to be our first target. This is our first plan. If anything gap up, remember, if anything gap up, then we cannot plan to sell aggressively any moment on here, because you can see here after opening gap up, market aggressively sharply fall on here. Even on here, seller aggressively try to sell on here. Somewhere this support continuously getting important support for the market. So only this swing is going to be a breakout after opening flat, then chances are very it can be breakdown on here. But if anything gap down, if anything gap up, then it's not going to be a breakdown. This range will going to be acting as another support for the market. So what should be our plan? After opening gap up, then we are going to be wait for first half. What is first half? 9:30 to 12:30 going to be our first half. Within this hour, we cannot plan to buy or sell anything. We have to be wait, because after opening gap up, no doubt you can see the last day Friday is a gap up, it's a sharp selling. So again gap up, again sharp selling. It is not going to be generally happen again. Same pattern, market will not going to be formed again and again. So in this condition, if anything gap up, then we have to be wait for 9:30 to 12:30. After 12:30, if market continuously spending the time and trying to closing on higher side, that to be in nearest support resistance level. If market let me draw in here, it's a support, it's a resistance line. After opening gap up, if market continuously start spending the time on here, after 12:30 to 1:30, any breakout, that to be in 50-minute time frame, then we can plan to buy with small quantity, half quantity on here, because this is another support resistance for the market. Only trending will going to be happen, any candle closing that to be 118, then upside momentum can be continuation. But for this, first market need to be open gap up, then market need to be continuously on sideways, then after 12:30 any breakout upside, that's the buying market. Then we can consider as a buying market, but it's not a 110% confirmation. That's why we have to plan with SL with small quantity. For this we have to buy with small quantity on here. So only after closing 118, then we can planning with the confirmation buying market. So this is our second plan. Third plan, suppose we planning to sell on here and market directly opening the gap down. In a gap down, there's a two possibility. You can see here it's a sharp buying, sharp selling from the top side. So if anything gap down, then market can become first positive on here for the short covering, or either market will going to be come down for his to find his previous support on here, because you can see here this is the support line. So no doubt market already accumulation zone made on here, then after breakout. Generally if accumulation zone not made on here, after touching this support, as soon as it break down, then no doubt after opening gap down, then it can be pulled back on here. The moment market already start to spending the time on here, then next day is gap down, then probability are saying that it look like it can be continuation for the selling first, and he will find his nearest support, which is look like 120 102 103. This is going to be support. So only after opening gap down, then we have to see the price action. Price action, any candle negative that to be in 5-minute time frame after opening gap down, then we can plan to sell with small quantity, because after opening flat we can plan aggressively. After opening gap down directly, then already half of profit will be gone. So we have to plan with small quantity. After opening gap down, we can find any negative that to be in 5 minutes, we can plan to sell on here, and one is going to be our minimum target and two is going to be our stop loss. So after opening flat and gap down, we have to, after opening gap up, we have to be wait. After opening gap down, we have to see the price action. The easiest things, after opening flat, as soon as it cross, we can try to sell on here, and this gap will going to be filled for this week. I hope you understand all of this point, friend. If you understand, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, friend. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and thank you very much.